Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 93, Scooby-Doo and Don Knotts. Episode number 93 is brought to you by Weaver's Department Store at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weaver's, pick up some of your favorite Mayberry items. They got all kinds of things, T-shirts, DVDs, CDs, all kinds of stuff that Mayberry fans are going to love. So just drop by over there and pick up something. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you. Tonight's episode's executive producer for episode number 93 is Bob James. Bob, thank you for your support. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Newsom, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. It's great to have you with us tonight. I'm glad you were able to take some time out of your busy day and just slow down and have some fun here in the talking about the Andy Griffith Show in Mayberry. Tonight we're going to talk about Scooby-Doo and Don Knotts. And I'll explain why as we go along, but a lot of you guys may remember back in the, years ago, back in the 70s, Scooby-Doo, there used to be a show called the New Scooby-Doo Movies. And Don Knotts was on two of those, and they were in 1972, both of them. One of them was called the Spooky Fog, and I'm going to have some pictures of these I'll post. But Don Knotts was in two of these episodes. In one, I think it was called Guess Who's Not Coming to Dinner, I think is the right one. Of course, I'm not sure which one. He played a deputy and went to Juneberry. So it was either the Spooky Fog or Guess Who's Not Coming to Dinner. But I think that was the one where he played the deputy. And then the other, I think, was the Fog. Spooky Fog was the one where Don played like himself and was just running around doing all kinds of, like detective work and things like that in the show. Anyway, he was on two of these episodes, and they had a real stylized version of what he looked like with his big eyes and his chin. It's very recognizable if you saw it. Well, what happened was I was watching the other night, and there's a new Scooby-Doo show that just started this year called Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. And in that, there was a guy in the crowd that if you're watching the episode, you can see that's basically, it's the character that Don Knotts played, or they drew as of Don Knotts when he played on Scooby-Doo back in the Scooby-Doo movies. And so what I'm going to do is put pictures of these on the facebook.com/2chairs, and you'll be able to see these screen images that I grabbed during that episode, because I was sitting there going, oh man, look, there's Don Knotts. And Jan, my wife, she was saying the same thing. That has got to be him. Well, at some point during the episode, he actually speaks, and they didn't use Don's or a voice like Don, so that was disappointing. Just in case you guys didn't know, Don also appeared on, there's a cartoon that used to come on the Cartoon Network, still comes on from time to time, called Johnny Bravo. And Don appeared on it several times. Actually, there's at least two episodes he appeared on as himself. And then he was on another episode with Weird Al and Weird Al Yankovic, and the Blue Falcon and Don Knotts were trying to do it was like a makeover show. It was like a cartoon makeover show. Anyway, there's a stylized version of him. I'll have those pictures online too. And of course, the one he's most famous for cartoon wise was he was as Mr. Limpet, Don Knotts. And of course, y'all guys know that. And you may not know that Ladyfish, his girlfriend on there, was played by the same lady who does Luann Poovey. So, anyway, I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Elizabeth McCrae is her name. And I just thought you guys might enjoy knowing that. But the main thing I wanted to say is, if you're watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, the first episode, and let's see if I got the name of that. The first episode, which I don't know the name of, came on last week at this time. So this is, at the time I'm recording this, it's July 19th, 2010. So just watch for that and watch for him in the crowd, because it's possible that character will show up again on some other episodes. But it was very exciting to me to see Don Knotts, even though it was a cartoon version of him, on Scooby-Doo. And so, anyway, I thought that's something you guys might enjoy. So be watching for that. The main thing we're going to do tonight is talk some feedback, because we got several little bits of feedback. And the last episode was episode 92 was Bert and Floyd business partners. Now, if you didn't get to hear that, you can drop back by the website, twochairsnowaiting.com, and check out episode number 92, and it's a flashback episode. Well, that flashback was written by Joe Gritton, and we appreciate that, but Ken Anderson wrote in to say this. He said, "What a great podcast. That was the first time I've been able to see Floyd in person." Now, what he's talking about, I actually posted on the fan page at Facebook. I posted the video for that episode. If you didn't see it, it's kind of fun. What I tried to do is I actually did the episode as Floyd, and we had Floyd coming in live from Mayberry, right from his barbershop. So if you guys didn't get to see it, it's kind of fun to watch. The flashback part is not as good on the video, or it's not the audio is just as good for certain. But the video was kind of fun just because it looks like I threw it live to Floyd at the barbershop, and then he did a flashback of him and Bert joining the business. Anyway, so this is what Ken had said, that it was the first time he was able to see Floyd live, or see Floyd in person. It was good to see Bert again, he said. "I really thought he would have made an outstanding addition to the regular visitors to the Andy Griffith Show. Whoever did his voice certainly does have the part down pat. I certainly can understand why you do... blah, blah. Anyway, kudos and thanks for your work." Hey, thanks, Ken. I really appreciate that. And it was me doing both voices. So I actually kind of disappointed because some of you guys may or may not know I impersonate Floyd at Mayberry events. And I actually thought I sounded a whole lot more like Bert during the last episode when I was doing the flashback than I did like Floyd. So I got to work on my Floyd voice now, because it just didn't. The Bert voice was just, it sounded like Winnie the Pooh, and that's really where I got started doing that, talking to my nephews and nieces as Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, thanks, Ken, for that email in, and we got an email a little while back from Joe Gritton as well. He said that he had a chance to listen to the final version of the podcast last night, and he said, "Well done, good intro. The sound, it was all good. I'm very proud. Bert and Floyd really did the script justice and brought it to life. It's an honor to have my words spoken by Floyd and Bert on the podcast." Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate that. And Joe is a great writer, and he did a great job writing that episode, and it was just amazing. We got folks in the podcast talking about Winnie the Pooh. "Oh, bother, have you seen my pot of honey?" That's my Winnie the Pooh. I used to call my niece and nephew and talk to them on the phone. "Hello, Eeyore. Have you seen any honey around? What about a rabbit?" Anyway, they would get a kick out of it. So that's the reason I started talking like that, and then I started trying to do Bert. Anyway, we want to thank Joe for writing that script. Great job. He also wrote a script for me back episode number 17. I'd have to look at the podcast, but the podcast website actually has it. He wrote the episode for that one as well. Yes, episode number 17 of Two Chairs is another feedback or a flashback episode. But Joe wrote or called in. So you guys not only get to hear what Joe did last week, but you're also going to get to hear his voice as he did a call in for us. So let's hear from Joe.
Hey, Alan and fans, this is Joe Gritton. Just a response to the Whistler theme from the last couple of podcasts here. I'm a little behind, but it's funny. We get confused when we see performances when we were kids, and I don't know if Mr. Lowry stretched the truth, or maybe he said something that real close to that it was him. But anyway, I want to relate a couple related things from my childhood. When I was a kid, one of the Globetrotters came to our school, and his name was Bryant. And later on, as an adult in life, I read that Kobe Bryant's father was Joe Jellybean Giant. So I was convinced that I had met Kobe Bryant's father, because he had this name Jellybean. It must have been that guy that was in the Harlem Globetrotters. And I believed that for a number of years. I looked for that autograph. I remember getting the guy's autograph. And then I finally remembered this guy's name was Howie Bryant, who was a Globetrotter, and it was not Kobe's father. So I just had to throw that in with your throwing Sweet Georgia Brown whistling there at the end of one of the podcasts. The other thing, even more tags related though, is there was a guy who came to my school who was on Green Acres, and his name was Alvey Moore. And this memory was very vivid to me. Now, Alvey Moore appeared on the Andy Griffith Show as the salesman in the one where they kept the baby. The episode title escapes me now, but remember Aunt Bee was trying to keep the baby, and the salesman came in, and he was holding the baby, and she was looking at stuff and buying it. Well, Alvey Moore was an uncle to one of my classmates. And then again, as an adult, I thought, well, maybe I messed this one up too, because his name, Moore, was not spelled the same as this girl in my class who was also Moore. So I recently saw her at our 30-year class reunion, and I emailed her afterwards, and I said, hey, I've got this memory, and I probably messed this up. You know, maybe the guy didn't come, maybe he wasn't your uncle, but, you know, I remember that this Alvey Moore came to our school. And in this case, she confirmed, yeah, that actually was her uncle, and what had happened was her mother's sister, whose name was Moore, spelled a different way, married Alvey Moore, the actor. And she went on to tell me about some of her visits with him and everything, and it was very nice, and he was just a nice gentleman. Most fans probably remember him as Mr. Kimball on Green Acres, but he was on the Andy Griffith Show. So I don't know what the mystery with Mr. Lowry was. He never came to my school. As I was listening to him, he kind of reminded me of that canary on the Ethel Page organ recitals. But I don't know. Maybe he did that, and you know, maybe he said, "Well, I was on the Andy Griffith Show, and you know, maybe they were doing him as a canary." I don't know, but. Anyway, interesting story, good mystery. Thanks all, and have a Mayberry day. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, so we got to hear from Joe Gritton. Wow, that's a great story. I tell you, the only people that ever came to my school when I was growing up was like the snake guy. He brought all these snakes around so you could look at. I really didn't care all that much for snakes. I'd a lot rather met Mr. Hank Kimball. Yeah, he would have been great to meet. But, you know, the snakes, not as fun. But talking about the Whistler episodes, guys, if y'all hadn't heard all about the controversy or whatever you want to say about who whistled the theme song, you can go back and listen to episodes 87, 88, and 90. And there's several episodes where we talked about that in great detail. So, Joe, hey, thanks for calling in. Thanks for sharing those stories. Because I realize it's an Andy Griffith Show podcast, but I got to say that I have a sweet spot for all those old TV shows. So, you know, I love Green Acres and a lot of those others that were much in the line of the Andy Griffith Show. Now, I want to tell you, I had another call. A guy called in. His name's Frank Phillips. Now, Frank, I would love to have answered the question because you were going to ask me some kind of trivia question, but I'm going to play about 15 seconds of this call. And you guys may realize, I think Frank may have been in a airplane or something. I don't know where he was, but let's just listen to just a little bit of this.
Hi, this is Frank Phillips from Philadelphia, and I was listening to your podcast about
Okay, that's about enough. I think you can tell I tried cleaning that up too. That was cleaned up audio. But Frank, if you'll call back in and ask your question again, I would love to be able to play you on the air and be able to. But it sounds like maybe, I don't know, you're riding in a car with the window down, or you're on a really busy highway or something. So I couldn't clean it up to be able to hear what you asked. I could hear you say that there's a trivia and a couple of other questions. So, hey, thanks for calling, and I want to thank you for taking the time to do that because a lot of people don't. And if anybody would like to give me a call and leave a message, it's 888-684-8415. And that phone number is posted on the website. In the episode show notes, you'll be able to see it. So you can give me a call and leave a message because I know people love hearing you guys talk and share your experience about the Andy Griffith Show or questions you might have. A lot more than they love me just standing around talking all the time. So we've got one more call that came in this week, and it's from Stan. And Stan is in our chat room. He goes by Jelsic Stern. And Jelsic called in, and I wanted to play this one. This is a great call. So here you go, Stan. Here's Jelsic.
Hey, Alan, this is Stan, a.k.a. Jelsic Stern on the show. Just calling to tell you thank you for all that you do, and want to give a little shout-out to Floyd and Briscoe and Lydia and Warren and all the gang. And, again, thank you for this show. It really, I look forward to it every Monday night and just enjoy it. So, anyway, I wanted to do a little tribute to Keevy Hazelton and do his favorite and I guess only song. So, anyway, here we go. My hometown is the greatest place I know, where the neighbors I find are gentle and kind, and the living easy and slow. My hometown is the only place to be, where the worries are small and the kids grow tall and strong and healthy and free. It's my hometown, Mayberry, Mayberry. Good night, folks.
That was a great job. Thank you, Jelsic. Wow. He was, Barney said something, or Andy did, I think, told Barney he was singing a cappella, and Barney said he knew, a cappella. But that's all he knew of that one. So, but Jelsic, that was a great job. Wow, we appreciate that. Got serenaded over the phone. And folks, I mentioned that they're in the chat room. And what we do on Monday nights, around 7 o'clock Central Time, if I can. At least this has been recently. So if you're listening to this podcast, 2 or 3 years from now, I don't know what we'll be doing. But you guys can drop by to the Two Chairs No Waiting website, and there's a link there that says chat room and videos. And you can drop in there about 7 o'clock. And if you're a friend on Facebook or follow me on Twitter, I try to alert everybody exactly what time. But folks can come by and they can watch the episode while I'm recording it. It's not much to see. You're just looking at me, basically, and I try to show the pictures and things we're seeing. But you can chat with one another, which is great. And you get to visit. And what we try to do after the show is sit around and visit for about 20 or 30 minutes just to enjoy each other's company. So I invite you to that. It's a lot of fun. And we usually have 6 or 10 people in there. And that's about what we got tonight. So that's where Jelsic is. And again, thanks, Jelsic, for the serenade. He was declaring for somebody perhaps in that one. But folks, hey, that's all I've got for you tonight. Let's make sure that that's all I've got. But that's all I have for you. And I want to thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for calling in and would love to hear from you again. Remember, you can call me at 888-684-8415. You can drop me an email at floyd@mayberry.com, or you can leave messages at either facebook.com/2chairs or at twochairsnowaiting.com. On any of the episodes, if you leave a comment, I'll see that and I'll try to use it on the episodes. So, folks, it's been a great time. And I think instead of leaving with the Mayberry Band music tonight, since Jelsic did this for us, I think I'm going to play us out with a little bit of something else. So there we go. So, folks, you guys have a great Mayberry week. And we'll see you next week on Two Chairs No Waiting. Bye.
Where the neighbors I find are gentle and kind, and the living's easy and slow. My hometown is the only place to be. Here the worries are small and the kids grow tall and strong and healthy and free. It's my home. Mayberry, Mayberry.
Good night, folks.